Before we dive into this episode, I'd just like to remind you that we are only a few days away from the Renew Year Masterclass 2025. If you feel like you need a blueprint, a plan to become your greatest version, align yourself with your God-given purpose, and create a life that feels good from within, come and join me. It's going to be a 2-day live virtual seminar. All sessions will be recorded with live Q&As at the end, with worksheets and extra resources to guide you into 2025. Together, we'll be crafting a vision, we'll be working through limiting beliefs, and just renewing our mindset, our spirit, and our entire lives, no matter what has happened in the past. So I hope you will join me and other like-minded individuals to create the best 2025 ever. If you'd like to join me, link is down below. See you there. Welcome to the Evolution of Self. I'm your host, Isabel Palacios, and this is the Taking Back Your Power podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Taking Back Your Power. If you're new here, welcome, and be sure to subscribe and follow this podcast wherever it may be that you're listening to it. So today, I wanted to talk about something because it is the new year. Everyone has set resolutions, new goals, going through their changes for the new year. So I wanted to talk about what happens when you make changes and the fact that not everyone's going to understand your goals. Not everyone is going to understand why you've changed or why you're doing things differently. And frankly, not everyone is going to understand the vision. We can't live our lives trapped by opinions or the criticisms or what others are going to think of us. Why? Because that is only going to keep you small. The truth of the matter is we are a social being, right? It is in our nature to care what other people think of us. Why? Because prehistoric times when we were very tribal, our tribe meant survival. So our tribe meant food, shelter, safety from the elements, from wild animals, from other tribes. And we were built for survival. We are a survival species. However, if we were to somehow be ostracized or cast out by our tribe and we were left out in the cold and we were by ourselves, that meant death. That meant loss of food, shelter, safety, security. So we are still wired to be that way, even though if our friend group doesn't like us anymore or we just stop resonating with our friend group, whoever it may be, does not mean that we're going to be cast out in the cold and not have a home, not have a place to live. I mean, most of the time, right? And talking in general, it could be a little different sometimes, but for the most part, because our friends don't like us does not mean, or our family doesn't get along with us does not mean that we're going to die, essentially. It's a little bit different nowadays. However, we are still hardwired. And by the way, before I keep going any further, I just want to apologize if I sound more nasally or funny in my voice. I've been sick the past week and finally feeling better today. So I apologize. I try not to record when I'm sick because I know some people don't like to hear it, but it's not that bad, I think. It's normal and natural to care what people think of you. However, you cannot be so hung up on people's opinions to the point where it is limiting you and making you smaller. If you are around a group of people who see you growing, who see you changing, who see you becoming better, who see you maybe growing spiritually, who see you growing your business, who see you growing mentally, who see you getting up early and going to the gym instead of staying all night out and partying, or they see you more at home and taking care of your, family versus, spending your money on luxury items, whatever, right? Maybe you had a group of friends who used to see you doing this stuff. If they are constantly telling you, oh, you've changed. Why are you doing that? Why are you getting up early? Or why are you spending so much time at home? Why are you always at the gym? Why are you always reading these books? Why are you so boring now? Why aren't you like the way you were a year ago, 6 months ago, 6 years ago? Why aren't you the same as you were? You have changed completely. And I don't like what you're doing. Oh, why are you going to church? Why are you looking for God? Why are you reading the Bible? That's for weird people. That's for religious extremists, all the things that you can hear from people. I firmly believe in my life as well, this has been true for my life, that if you are not changing, you are not growing. And sometimes change can be negative, sometimes it can be positive, but what change means is that you are alive. that you are growing. And sometimes we go through difficult changes and tough changes that lead us down bad roads. Change is also good to bring you back to the other side and put you on a road that will lead to your success, that will lead to your happiness. That's why we should not be afraid of changing. We should be afraid of staying the same. And if people are being like crabs in a bucket and they're like, why are you going to move away from your hometown? Everyone's here. Or why are you going to go after that big job? Or why are you going to change careers? Those people are simply afraid by your potential. They are threatened by your potential, even if you don't see your own potential. They see you and you are kind of mirroring back. And that's what a lot of times change and growth and adopting new habits does to the people around us. It puts a mirror in front of them. You are being a mirror to them and showing them either their greatest inadequacies, or you're showing them, hey, you know what? I can do that too. Or I'm going to be motivated. Or I'm going to be inspired. I'm a happy person. I love myself. I love my life. And seeing them go after their dreams, that makes me even happier. That's the bottom line. People can say whatever they want to say, but if you, let's say you yourself are not happy that a friend is changing, or maybe they're changing their lifestyle, their habits, whatever, maybe you're not hanging out enough anymore because they don't want to go out with you anymore or whatever, you're going to feel some type of way. And when you go through your own changes, people are going to feel some type of way about it. But the way they respond is a good indicator of whether or not you want those people in your life, whether or not those people are going to help you grow in a positive way. Honestly, it can be your own people that can be your biggest detractors. Sometimes it's people online, right? If you're a content creator, sometimes it's people that don't like what you're posting. And this is something that is true for my life, is that I have been through so many evolutions in my life just online. And it's crazy when I think about I've been online for almost like half my life at this point. I think, yeah, basically almost half my life, because I started posting onto YouTube when I was like 16, 17. I'm 30 now. And I started off doing beauty content just for fun, whatever. And then I started growing. And then I went through a spiritual awakening. And in that spiritual awakening, I was always kind of somebody who always sought more knowledge. I always wanted to learn more. I always wanted to learn the esoteric and especially the spiritual aspect of things. I've always been that way. And so as I started to notice things in life, I was raised Catholic, but I, wanted to search and find and seek. And that's when I came across the law of attraction, manifestation, all these things when I was like 20 years old. And it just clicked so many things for me. And it was an awakening about everything in life. And I always thought that manifestation was going to fill the void that I felt inside of me. So for me, I started to post spiritual content, and I used to be a beauty channel. And then I started talking about spirituality, law of attraction, new age. And then come 2020, I started to have another spiritual awakening, and this time towards Christ, towards God. And I realized that manifestation, it was filling a void for me, for feeling like I was doing better in life if I were to manifest material things. And I went through, trying to manifest a relationship. I manifested a relationship that wasn't right for me, and it was actually a terrible relationship. After that relationship, I had to go through my own healing journey, heal my femininity. And as I was doing that, I was called back to Christ. I made a video about this about 6 months ago now, about how, my views have changed on manifestation. My views have changed on all these things. And it really ruffled a lot of people, and a lot of people were upset by that. But this is part of being human, is that we are going to change. We are going to grow. My knee-jerk reaction when I started to get criticism was to kind of maybe quit, stop posting, stop showing up. I really told myself last year, I really want to dedicate myself to the podcast. So that's why I'm here. I could easily shut down and say, you know what, those people are right. I'm going to start making content like my old content. But then that's not me being authentic. I have always prided myself in my content and being authentic and being real and sharing part of my life and sharing where I am in my spiritual journey. And if I were to stop talking and censor myself because some people aren't happy with it because they don't see the vision, they haven't seen my behind the scenes, they haven't seen the things I've gone through, they haven't seen the growth that I've been through, they haven't seen the healing, they haven't seen that, they just see me on a screen. If I were to make myself small and stop talking about the things that changed my life in hopes to help other people, then I'm just shutting down my vision. I am not living up to my God-given potential. I'm not being Isabel. And here's the thing, I think it would be way more alarming and sad to see that somebody hasn't changed. They're in the exact same spot. They're in the exact same life situation. They haven't changed. They haven't grown. They haven't evolved from 5-10 years ago. I think that is more worrying than to see somebody evolve and move into different roles in life. And I have gone through so many different roles in my life. And right now, my role is of a mother, and it's of a mother to a little girl. And I take that role seriously, and I take it more seriously than anything else. And as I had to step into that role, and as I went from my transformation from a single woman into a mother, into a wife, that is a transformation that will never leave you the same. And I'm sure those of you who have become parents or who have gone through a big change or a big level up in life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know how your vision changes. You know how your priorities change. And I would be so worried if you tell me, Isabel, my priorities are the exact same as 6 years ago. I would say, what have you been doing for the last 6 years? To be honest, what have you been doing? If your priorities are exactly the same, if your goals are exactly the same, what happened? So people aren't going to understand me. Some people are going to feel upset that I just said what I said, and it's going to trigger, and that's okay. Like, our triggers lead us to what we need to heal. They lead us to what we need to work on. But you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real with yourself with where you are in life, especially if change is scary to you. And yes, if you are not changing, you are not growing. You did not go through all these things just to stay the same. That's what I tell myself when people want to tell me, oh, Isabel, you've changed. Why are you doing this? Why are you talking about that? I don't like your content. I miss the old. When people tell me that stuff, it says, I did not go through all these things in my life up until this point in 2025 to stay the same. I want to get better, and I'm always wanting to get better. I'm always going to push myself to be the best that I can be, because I know where complacency leads, and it's not anywhere pretty. And yes, change feels like a chore. Change feels like the most difficult thing at times. Change feels like a burden. It feels like putting your feet to the fire, but it's really what drives your life forward. So I understand people aren't going to get my vision. If I change my hair, if I change my routines, if I change my life, if I change the way I do things, people aren't going to get it. And that's okay. It's my life, just like it's your life. And what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. What works for your neighbor may not work for you, and vice versa. It is your life. And if you are going to make yourself smaller to appease people who have no skin in the game, you're going to look back and say, why did I do that? Especially for you guys that are younger. I think those of you in your teens, your 20s, maybe your 30s, you have a lot more to lose by keeping yourself small and not going after your dreams, not building that business, not working on yourself, not working on your fitness, not growing spiritually, emotionally. You have a lot more to lose if you don't do those things than if you did them, and you lost people who didn't want to see you grow and were intimidated by your change. And this is the thing, is a lot of times God pushes us to be better and to be bigger and to show up more, because he's using us for a greater plan, and we don't see it. We don't see it. But once we've done the work and we've been through it and we see all these experiences we've gone through and we've changed and transformed through them, then we see the hand of God. But we're too stuck in our ego. We're too stuck in what we think and what people think and what looks better. Or, we're afraid of change. We're afraid of going for those things because maybe we've been burned too many times and we're afraid. And that's normal. We are so focus on the outside world that we don't realize that we see our confidence in our worth, in our beauty, our power, when we look back on our life and we see the risks that we took, we see the changes that we made, as hard as they were, we see the transformation, only looking back. And I want you to be in competition with yourself. not anyone else. And I am grateful. I think God really revealed this to me, but I'm grateful that I came back to my roots, that I started to read the Bible more, and I strengthened my relationship with God. And I opened up myself to my Catholic faith again, because that was the thing that I was most afraid of doing. That was the thing I was most afraid of talking about publicly. And I think about that, and it's so sad to me, because God has given me so much and I couldn't even give him the glory. I couldn't even talk about him openly because I was too afraid what people on the internet would say. But I'm grateful that I did it. I'm grateful, even though I feel like I'm starting my channel from zero, because when you stop uploading for a while, the algorithm does not like that and kind of punishes your channel, and all these things that happen with the algorithm and all this. But you know what? It's okay. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for anything. I'm here for those of you who listen and who resonate, and the messages and the support that tells me, Isabel, don't stop. Please continue making your content. Please continue talking about these things. I resonate. Those of you that understand the vision know you guys have been through something similar, and you guys understand the changes and how it transforms you, how a relationship with God transforms you. It's just really gotten to the point where material things or accolades or people's praise or opinions or whatever, it's gotten to the point where those things don't matter as much as having God's favor. And having this relationship with God is what matters to me the most. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's all I can say about that. If you want to start a brand, if you want to start a business, if you want to push yourself in your fitness, in your health, in your wellness, in the way you view yourself, in the way you show up in the world, maybe it's in your career, maybe it's switching jobs, maybe it's moving to a new city, maybe it's getting out of a relationship. If you are wanting to change, you're done with how things have been done, and you are ready for the status quo to be destroyed, and you are ready for that change, this is your sign. Don't stop. Don't let anyone stop you. Keep doing what you're doing. You never know who's going to be inspired by you. Nobody is going to be more upset than your future self if you don't do the things now that you have inspiration, that you have the ability, that you have time on your side. Your future self will either be thanking you, or you're going to be kicking yourself in a few years' time. And yes, of course, we all do things that we eventually regret. We all make mistakes. We all do things, but don't let your need to people please or to fit in or to make other people like you come at the expense of your dreams and your visions and your goals. It's good to change. I would be more worried if you told me that you haven't changed from 6 or 10 years ago. That is a part of life, is change. Our skin changes, our hair changes, our bodies change. That is a part of life. There's nothing in nature that stays unchanging. Even rocks will be weathered over time. The earth changes from each season. You will change from season to season, and transformation will come at the expense of your past self. I never look back in life and mourn, oh, whenever I was single, oh, whenever, I had more free time, I didn't have what. I never look back. The past has nothing of value for me anymore. I'm here in the present where I can actually make changes, and I actually do things that are for the good of people around me, for my family. And I look towards the future. And that's my priority. I'm leaving a legacy. I had to heal and go through so many things to become a mother. And I'm so grateful that I did, because I can be a patient mother. I can be a happy mother. I can be a present mother. And that to me is the biggest role in my life, is of a mother. And I want to leave a legacy for my daughter that she can be proud of. And she can say, my mom had faith. My mom was a woman of God. My mom felt the fear. She felt the pressure, and she did the things that she had to do despite the fact that she felt fear and she felt pressure. And I want to inspire my daughter at the end of the day. That's my number one priority, is that she has a mom that she can be proud of. It's not even about the likes. It's not about the follows. I have said this so much over the course of my YouTube journey, my social media journey, is that I don't care if I grow or not. I am here to spread a message. I am here to help people, and I'm not going to be able to help everyone. It's a fact of life that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. If you are somebody who appeals to everyone, are you really being your true self? Are you really being authentic? You're not going to appeal to everyone, and not everyone's going to get why you do the things that you do. It's between you and God. And so I want you to take this as a sign to continue working through the change, to reinvent yourself, to transform, to push yourself to be better than you were yesterday. That's all we can really be promised. Tomorrow isn't promised, but today is. So show love for yourself, show up for yourself. Don't make yourself small. Don't change yourself to fit into these molds. You are not meant to fit in if you were born to stand out. You're not meant to be like everyone else. So I appreciate you. I love you. And to those of you who are supporting this podcast, thank you so much. You do so much more than you realize for me. And I love to do what I do, and I hope I can continue doing it. And your support enables me to be able to do that. So thank you so much. And don't forget that we're going to have another Renew Your Masterclass for those who missed it earlier this month. We're going to have one at the end of the month on January 25th and 26th. So be sure to sign up, because once it's gone, it's gone. This is going to be the last time I do this. So I hope that you can join me. The link is down below. And as always, my beautiful angels, remember, no matter who you may be in this life, no matter what you may be going through or what you look like, always remember your true beauty, your true worth, and your true power always come from within. I love you, and don't forget to join me for another episode of Taking Back Your Power.